Good morning. Welcome to yet another magical day, magical Monday, the first magical Monday of this joyous January. Let's start our peak state programming by looking at our dreams, giving them more power. Let's start. Welcome back. So let's start our morning with a beautiful book, Letting Go. And today we'll talk about health, wealth, and happiness. And it's going to be very, very interesting to read about it. So let's go for it and let's understand how can letting go give us these beautiful feelings. Firstly, wealth is not only financial, it's a lot more than financial. But yes, when we let go, even that comes to us abundantly. So let's start our morning with letting go. Rahul, so are we bringing the book on? All right. So we were on this chapter where today we're going to talk about health. So let's understand what's written and then we'll translate and understand more. So the average person is preoccupied with the body, its functioning, performance, appearance, and survival. So if you look at all the conversations when you enter a room or you're meeting some people after some time, they're so look-centric. You've lost weight, you're looking younger, you're looking drained, or how fitter, or something. Your hair are looking nice. It's so much about the way it looks. It's all about the body. Now, the average mind is beleaguered with worries, fears of sickness, suffering, disease, and death. Therefore, the mindsets are about defending the body in a great variety of ways. This leads to over attention to diet, weight, exercise, and the health of the environment. With such inner tension, by the end of the day, the average person frequently feels like a victim, drained, empty, and exhausted. One consequence of this preoccupation with the body is self-consciousness. Within the field of awareness, the body's presence is prominent, and there is a mental fixation with what it is doing, its whereabouts, its movements, its survival, the attitudes, and approval of other persons towards the body, its appearance and behavior. Underlying all of this concern is the unconscious equation: I am a body. This is a very limited level of consciousness. In fact, in the spiritual world, this is being unconscious. So let's understand. एक तरफ हम बोल रहे हैं we are self-conscious. एक तरफ हम बोल रहे हैं that I'm not the mind, I'm not the body, I am the soul. And yet whatever we are doing is for the body. So we are giving so much attention to our body. ये वजन नहीं है, बाल ऐसे हैं, looks ऐसे हैं, blah, 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 blah. So are we not living in a contradiction, a world like that? Now, are we not going to say that we are not conscious? Because हम spiritual आध्यात्मिक journey पे जा रहे हैं, But yet everything is about the body. What are we going to wear? So much of importance is given to our jewelry, our clothes, our hair, how our face looks. There's so much into this. Now, another way about this is to see that all the saints who live in the Himalayas or wherever they live and however they do, they sometimes don't even eat. They don't even take a shower. Their hair are also how they are. And yet, if you look in the face, there's a tej, there's a glow. So, what are we doing? Let's understand it a little more. Because it is a false identification due to a marked narrowing of awareness. All of us are very narrow in awareness. Hence, this problem is happening. Sir, can you please turn the page? It is like wearing blinders. It is like having a pimple on the nose and thinking about the whole world now revolves around that pimple. And now going through the day with the pimple most prominent in our mind. Be aware of how much energy is drained by this constant preoccupation with the body. Our mind has been continuously programmed with a countless variety of belief systems about the body. What it needs, what will be good, what it will be good for, what its infinite number of vulnerabilities. This leads to constant preoccupations with all kinds of health preventive measures, including health food fads, the endless reading of labels of potentially poisonous ingredients, the fear of being near someone smoking a cigarette, the fear of dust and pollens, and all of the supposed contaminations in the world, in the environment. There is an obsession with offsetting all of these dangers by various countermeasures. As we have seen in previous discussions, these vulnerabilities are merely the product of the mind, and the body will react to what was held in mind. This was demonstrated in a discussion of multiple personalities where the body reflected in each instant what that particular personality and mind believed. If you have been told that obesity runs in the family, unknowingly or knowingly you'll put on weight. If you've been told diabetes runs the family, unknowingly or knowingly you'll get blood sugar. If you've been told that, we have an asthma history in our family, you will have problem in breathing. This is so psychosomatic, it's unbelievable. And our energy is put there. Now the energy is put in our mind, obviously the body is going to respond. So where are we here? What are we doing? Now, how to work on this? As we begin letting go of all of these fears, canceling the belief systems, and reaffirming that our true self is infinite and not subject to limitations, we move into a higher state of health, wellness, and vital energy. A helpful way to phrase it to ourselves is I am an infinite being, not subject to my environment. Because it doesn't matter if I'm living in India, Honolulu, I'm living in whichever part of the country, wherever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who I'm living with. If I am so aware that I am infinite, come what may, where I am, I'm going to have better health. We put into the blank space whatever disease or substance that the mind has been programmed to see as a possible danger for us. So say some people say, I'm very prone to allergies. So what do we say? I'm an infinite being, not subject to allergies. Or, I mean, suppose if somebody is in a place where there's a lot of negativity around you happening, and you're like, I'm unable to get out of the negative world. What do? You say, I'm an infinite being, not subject to any negativity. So after letting go of the endless variety of bodily fears, concerns, and belief systems, physical illnesses begin to resolve automatically. Now, isn't that lovely? We don't have to go to a doctor. We don't have to go to a any functional medicine person, anybody. But is letting go so easy when it comes to body? But nobody has ever taught us in our 20, 30, 40, 50, 70 years that we are not the mind, we are not the body. We've been told, this is my body, this is how it has to be, I have to be taking care of it, ye karna hai, wo karna hai. We've been taught that by our grandmothers, grandfathers, parents, whoever. But when we let go, a lot starts falling in line. There's an increase in the feeling of aliveness and personal freedom. In the state of total surrender, the body is barely perceived at all. It is only peripheral in awareness, and there is no preoccupation with it. It functions effortlessly, smoothly, and with very little attention. So now the best part is, whenever you give it less attention, the body behaves better. For example, if somebody says, I have constipation, and that particular day you eat whatever, however, without taking much, pet mein dard ho raha, flatulence aa rahi, ye ho raha, wo raha, your body will respond so much more better because it's going to be effortless, smooth. It's going to be unhindered by your attention. I mean, for lack of attention. A surrendered person can eat anything or go anywhere and is no longer subject to fears of contaminants, pollutants, drafts, germs, electromagnetic frequencies, carpet, dust, smoke, animal dander, poison ivy, pollen, or food dyes. A perception of the body shifts and it now seems to be like a puppet or a pet. This shift of perception is from I am the body to I have a body. Now just think about this. I, the soul, and by now, a lot of you know the name of your soul because you've done the unified journey also with me. So you know that your soul has a name and that soul has chosen you as a body. So now you can start easily say that I have a body. It becomes progressively obvious that the body is not experiencing itself at all. On the contrary, it is the mind that is experiencing the body. Without the body, the mind can't be perceived at all. The arm can't experience its armness. Only the mind can experience the armness. This is, of course, the very basis of anesthesia. When the mind is asleep, the body has no sensation. It slowly dawns on us that, in fact, the body doesn't have any sensation. Only the mind is capable of that function. Now, this is a very important thing to note for all of us. That, okay, scientifically, if it's proven that anesthesia ke andar, there's a senselessness. Even if you want a tooth extraction, doctor will give you local anesthesia there, and you don't feel the pain because it's become numb. So the mind operates. How wonderful. Now, I'm not the body, I have a body. Why am I stressing so much about it? And especially knowing that the subconscious mind that comes with my soul is controlling my heartbeat, my pulse, my breathing. What am I scared about? So this is a shift we can probably bring in ourselves. This is a very important shift of consciousness because now the preoccupation is not with the body and defending it. The focus of attention now shifts to the mind, which is where the greatest power lies, power of subconscious mind. As we shift our thoughts, feelings, and perceptions, we begin to notice that the body follows suit. We recognize that people are not really responding to our body at all, but to our inner attitudes, our energy state, our level of awareness. So in this case, you might remember a story about that lady with a hat. I don't know how many of you know it. She goes to a store, and I've shared this before. She goes to a store and somebody says, she's an average looking woman and nobody pays attention to her in the office. That day she goes to a store and somebody says, oh, look, you look beautiful. Another lady comes in the store, oh, this hat is really complimenting you. And she goes to the store, she pays the money for the hat, and she's thinking that she's wearing the hat and she's going the entire day around. Everyone's complimenting her. And by the end of the day, she realizes there's no hat on her head. But she realizes, why are people complimenting me? Because the mind says that, oh my God, you look spectacular in that hat. And then that gives the confidence. So very, very important to be aware of this. Now, one day it dawns on us that everyone and everything in the world are responding to our level of consciousness, our intention, and to the way we are behaving in our body, the inner feeling that is being guided. We have all of that. We register the magnetism of saintly people such as Mother Teresa, Dalai Lama, Mahatma Gandhi. We see that they're beloved not because of the physical appearance, but because of the inner radiance of love and peace they emanate. The shift of focus from the physical level to the level of consciousness begins to bring rapid results. So हमें हर time पे जब हम let go करते हैं, we have to bring about that shift, a conscious shift. हमें पता है, हम भी विश्वास नहीं कर पा रहे, but again and again to remind ourselves, this is the truth. And okay, I let go. Okay, I let go. Soft reminders to ourselves again and again and again. The persistent surrender of negative feeling. Excuse me. The persistent surrender of negative feelings and attitudes means associated guilt is also being constantly relinquished. A consciousness that is not guilt-ridden tends no longer to attract disease. In the unconscious, guilt requires punishment. Yes, Richa, please. That'll be lovely.
A conscious, from where I have to start, just let me know.
Second paragraph, the persistent surrender.
Okay. The persistent surrender of negative feelings and attitudes means that the associated guilt is also being constantly relinquished. A consciousness that is not guilt-ridden tends to no longer to attract disease. In the unconscious, guilt requires punishment and sickness with its attendant pain and suffering. As a mind most frequent means of self realizations, this self realization may take the form of an accident,
Self-retaliation.
self retaliation, okay, form of an accident, cold, attack of the flu, arthritis, or any of the multiple diseases that the mind has invented. These diseases take epidemic form due to television and media publicity. When a prominent figure shares with the public some serious illness, there is a sudden jump in the incidence of that illness. The unconscious grabs hold of a disease and utilizes it to settle the score. With the constant surrender of inner guilt, there is a less and less of score to be settled. Therefore, a person who is free of negativity and guilt tends to be free of disease and suffering.
Very important to understand this. Negative feelings के लिए बार 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 जब हम बात करते रहते हैं, we become guilty. मुझे ये है, मुझे वो है, मुझे ऐसा फील हो रहा है. And then suppose अगर bloating हो रही है, flatulence हो रहा है, and हम अरे ये हो गया पेट में, अरे वो हो गया पेट में, and yet when you're eating, you're just guilty that अरे इतनी प्रॉब्लम है तो मैं क्यों खा रहा हूँ. A consciousness that is not guilt-ridden tends to no longer attract disease. अगर हम aware हैं कि it's okay, I let go, I let go, I let go. मैं खा लिया, it's okay, I let go. Then I will not attract disease of flatulence या bloating भी नहीं होएगी, because मैंने let go कर दिया. इतना simple है, but हमें समझ में नहीं आता. In the unconscious, guilt requires punishment and sickness. जब मैं guilty हूँ, मैंने ये कर लिया, इसका मतलब guilty है तो तुमने wrong किया है, अब तुम्हें punishment मिलेगी. So, hence we suffer. So, very important to understand that a mind in a self-retaliation position वो retaliate करता है कि तुमने क्यों खाया, तुमने क्यों किया, अब तुम्हें ये पड़ेगा, अब तुम्हें ये मिलेगा, अब तुम्हें फ्लू हो जाएगा, arthritis हो जाएगा, अब ये हो जाएगा, वो हो जाएगा. एंड हम unknowingly फैमिली में या सोसाइटी में कहीं कोई बोलता है ये बीमारी हो गई है, उसको कहीं ना कहीं लैच ऑन कर लेते हैं. एंड जो इंसान फ्री था गिल्ट से, डिसीज से, सफरिंग से, शायद वो भी अट्रैक्ट कर ले अगर हायर लेवल ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस में नहीं है या लेट गो नहीं किया. तभी कभी नेगेटिव सुनो तो लेट गो. रेकी में तो ना हम लोग अपना वो ऑरा भी क्लियर करते हैं एंड सॉल्ट वाटर वॉश भी लेते हैं, just because जो भी negativity आई, just let go. The healing can be dramatic. There was a case, for example, of a magazine publisher who was in a hopeless state of advanced multiple sclerosis. The medical profession had done what it could and had given her up a terminal hopeless case. At what point she came upon the technique of relinquishing guilt by studying the workbook of A Course in Miracles. In working with this home study course, which was all about keeping you off your guilt, It consisted of contemplating exactly one short lesson a day for 365 days. She began to undo all of her guilt and resentment through the mechanism of forgiveness. सारी जड़ ही है कि हमने अपने आप को फॉरगिव नहीं करा, हम गिल्टी हैं, हम पनिशमेंट लेते रहते हैं अपने आप, बॉडी में रिस्पॉन्ड करती रहती है और हम बीमार होते रहते हैं. What if we follow up 365 days, a lady has practiced forgiveness, 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 letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. एंड में जो डॉक्टर ने बोला था आपकी इरिवर्सिबल बीमारी है, nothing can happen to you, she's normal. Let's read about her. By constantly forgiving and undoing the negative feelings and therefore undoing her inner guilt, the disease of multiple sclerosis reversed itself. As of this writing, she has been recovered for years and is in radiant, glowing health, happy with her life. Health and well-being then are generally the automatic consequence of the letting go of guilt and other negativities, as well as the letting go for resistance to the positive. It's health and well-being. Through the surrender mechanism, can be resolved into wellness. So whoever has whatever bimari can be let go. Like I can tell you, I have a cold kind of a scene for the last month, almost. I'm not being able to let go because I know I have to let go and I'm trying, but it doesn't always work. But if we were to follow the guideline of this particular book, if you see 365 days, karna hai, let go, karna hai. Just let go, just forgive, just forgive, just forgive. Pata bhi nahi ki, am I holding it on for some guilt? No, of course, guilt nahi, bimari kahan se aati? So kahin na kahin subconsciously, consciously guilt to hai. So can we all experiment with ourselves and surrender and just let go of whatever it is, known or unknown, and just start cleaning and let's see what's going to happen. Let's take it as an experiment today. Shall we all do that? Whatever we have to. I'm sure we all have some kind of bimari in the body, something. I know that it took me a lot of mehnat to reverse my thyroid, 12 years I was going to, 10 years or 12 years I was going through thyroid medicine. When I learned about these mechanisms, I let go, I practiced, and finally I became thyroid free. But then the mind is so used to some medication. Oh, how can you be medicine free? So the flu came, but I said, no, I will not take medication. So it's probably fighting with me that no, start on a medication. I said, no, I will not take medication. So it's persisting because I'm not being able to let go. So something is going on, right? So let's be a little careful of what we are attracting. Let's be a little aware of what we are attracting. As was said earlier, there may be uncommon cases in which illnesses or infirmity continues unabated due to unknown factors such as karmic proclivities. तो ठीक है, हमने कुछ रॉन्ग किया होगा, ओके, उसकी वजह से कुछ चीज चल रही है, ओके, पर हमें पता है कि हमने कार्मिक कुछ अपने ऊपर लाया था, सो हम ही हटा सकते. पहली लाइफ में भी अगर आया होगा, मुझे भुगतना है, तो ठीक है, आई विल डू इट, बट नाउ आफ्टर अ व्हाइल आई एम गोइंग टू गेट फ्री फ्रॉम इट. Continual surrender brings healing at the level of inner being, so that even when the body appears to suffer limitation and others may see that it is tragic, the person is at peace and radiates an inner well-being that uplifts others. जो लोग एक्सेप्ट कर लेते हैं कि मुझे प्रॉब्लम है, आई है तो जाएगी, वो भी शांत होते हैं, उनके आसपास लोग भी शांत होते हैं. I can tell you this with conviction with myself. When I had cancer, I just accepted कि it's come to teach me something. किसी को firstly बताया नहीं, तो negativity नहीं आई. I was absolutely normal and radiant, and so were others. So what you are goes around you as energy bubble. So please be careful. जब भी कभी negativity आए, please close your auras and please, please, please let go. Please surrender. You know how to close your auras. You know how to surrender now. To surrender at great depth, such persons have let go of self-pity, guilt, and resistance to life circumstances. They have transcended the view that their illness is a barrier to personal happiness and see it as a vehicle of blessing to others. And the more you have a problem, physical, mental, emotional, please, please, please become channels of love. Please become channels of blessing. Please radiate blessings. Please radiate love everywhere around. जहां जानते हैं नहीं जानते. जितना वो सब दोगे उतना आपके अंदर एक लाइट फीलिंग आएगी, उतना यू विल बिकम रिसिपिएंट टू लव। कितने करोड़ों लोग ब्लेसिंग्स देते हैं रोज, आप उस सर्कल में आ जाओगे ऑटोमेटिकली, कुछ आप दे रहे हो तो मैग्नेटिकली आप उनको पुल करोगे। एक सर्कल बना हुआ है ब्लेसिंग्स का, अब आप रोज दे रहे हो, 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 यू आर मूविंग टुवर्ड्स इट। So if you want to be part of such beautiful blessings, start being the channel of blessings, start giving it and start letting go. कि मैं दे रही हूँ तो मुझे मिलेगा ना, let go, let go, let go. Unconditional blessings, unconditional love. मिलेगा is a cherry on the cake, but उस चेरी के पीछे नहीं भागना है, फिर तो आप बहुत selfishly कर रहे हो, right? Understand that very, 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 very well. In recent years, public examples of this phenomena have included the late Pope John Paul II, who approached the unremitting Parkinson's disease as a spiritual opportunity to become one with and even to take on the suffering of others. Now, this is you can turn the page, sir. This is a very important practice. We are even practicing in Buddhism. It's very difficult, but it's called Tomlin practice. हम लोग क्या करते हैं? मेरी सारी अच्छाई तुम्हारी, तुम्हारी सारी बीमारियां, सफरिंग्स मेरी। बहुत कई बार बीमार हो भी जाते हैं, खुद भी बीमार हो जाते हैं। So what I could be going through is because of that also, but it doesn't matter. I feel so much lighter and healthier. And कब तक last करेगा? It has to go, right? It has to go. So this is also a practice which the Pope healed himself with, right? So by now we know how to improve our health. Are we all clear? How all can we increase our healing? Very, very, very clarity होनी चाहिए हम सबको. Let go, let go, let go, let go, let go. Every other time, become the channels of love, become the channels of blessing, and your health will definitely become better. And if you have something, don't have it. Just say, I'm going through it. We've talked about that also. I don't have diabetes. I'm going through diabetes. I don't have thyroid. I'm going through thyroid. Or I don't have obesity. I'm going through obesity. So that we go through this and it's gone. Because everything must pass. This too shall pass. All right. Richa, you can read the chapter on wealth now.
Okay.
Section on wealth.
This is an important subject not only because it has such a direct effect on our life, but also because it is so quickly and easily makes obvious our feelings, thoughts, and attitude about money. To the mind that holds limiting belief system and negative thoughts and feelings, money is a problem. It is a source of endless worry and anxiety, hopelessness and despair, of vanity, pride, arrogance, and intolerance of others, jealousy, and envy. At its worst, the end result of all the negativity is a feeling of financial limitation, lack, and deprivation. In this area, the feeling I can't, due to fear and limitation, is often skittered by simply
Skirted.
avoiding skittered by simply avoiding the whole issue of money and resigning oneself to a low social economic status as inevitable.
Inevitable. Okay.
Inevitable.
So
Okay.
very important for all of us to understand. वेल्थ कम क्यों होती है हमारे पास? पहली बात तो हम इग्नोरेंस में लिव कर रहे हैं, हमें पता ही नहीं कि वर्ल्ड में अबांडेंस ही अबांडेंस, सबके लिए बहुत कुछ है। फिर हमको अपनी प्राइड, झूठी ईगो, ये अरे उसके पास इतनी वेल्थ है, जेलस हो रहे हैं, ये हो रहा है, वो हो रहा है, अरे उसके पास तो कितना कुछ आ रहा है, ऐसा हम ऐसी बातें बोलते हैं। सो मनी को एक प्रॉब्लम बना रहे हैं। जब हम प्रॉब्लम बना रहे हैं तो प्रॉब्लम हमारे पास क्यों आएगी? वो चीज हमारे पास आएगी जिसको हम कॉम्प्लीमेंट करते हैं। अगर आज मैं विजय जी को बोलूं, विजय जी, you're a problem to me, will he come to my house? He'll say, no, I'm a problem to her, she's not welcoming me. But on the contrary, if I tell Vijay ji, you're really a blessing, he'll want to come to me. यार मुझे बोलती है I'm a blessing, तो मैं तो उसके घर जरूर जाऊंगा, क्यों नहीं जाऊं? अपने आप सामने से न्योता दे रही है। How will he feel? So money is like that. आप मनी को प्रॉब्लम बता रहे हो कि आप मनी को ब्लेसिंग बता रहे हो? आप बोलो जितना मैं खर्च करता हूँ ज्यादा मुझे मिलता है, या मैं बचा के रख रहा हूँ अपने बुरा खराब दिनों के लिए। सोच लो एनर्जी कहाँ जा रही है। किसने बोला यू कांट अर्न मनी? किसने बोला पैसा कम है? मुझे लोग बोलते हैं कि जस्ट बिकॉज यू आर रिच आप ऐसी बातें बोलते हो। तो भैया आई वॉज बोर्न रिच, बट मैंने कभी उनकी पैसे लिए नहीं ना, नानी बाबूजी के, मॉम डैड के, हस्बैंड के, कभी लिए नहीं ना, अपने आप क्रिएट किया ना अपनी वेल्थ। ठीक है, आई एम बोर्न रिच, करेक्ट करेक्ट, बट हैव आई टेकन द मनी टू स्टार्ट माई बिजनेस? हैव आई टेकन द सपोर्ट? नो, आई एम सेल्फ मेड। व्हाई? बचपन से आई न्यू ना मनी इज वेरी इजी। At 16 I earned my first salary. Why? Because it's very easy. So that's what I want to tell everyone, that money is beautiful. मनी को इतना हवा बना के दूर मत से। अगर आपके पास ज्यादा मनी आ रहा, बुराई है क्या उसमें? अगर आपको नहीं भी पसंद मनी, अपने ऊपर बहुत एक्स्ट्रा वीकेंड लाइफ लिव करने का, एंड द मनी फॉर वेलफेयर सोसाइटी, अच्छे काम में लगा दो ना। किसने बोला है ज्यादा पैसा इज बैड? आप हॉलिडे कर सकते हो, आप सामान खरीद सकते हो, अच्छी लाइफस्टाइल कर सकते हो। व्हाट्स द प्रॉब्लम विद मनी? सो जो लोग बोलते हैं ना कि ये ऐसा है वैसा है, it's all bakwas. You are basically despaired. You're basically anxious. You are worrying. So I'll guess the fact that this is who I am. Just don't say I don't like to have so much of money. It's money is like, it kharab kar deta, screws up. So again, what is your attitude towards it? The unconscious brings to us what it thinks we deserve. If our view of ourselves is small, limited, miserly, to the accumulated guilt, then the unconscious will bring those economic conditions into our life. Our attitude about money can be discovered when we look at the many things that it means. For example, we say the degree to which it stands for security, power, glamour, sexual attraction, successful competition, self-worth, and our values to others and the world. Nothing is tough in life. Money is the easiest to get. ग्लैमर, पावर, सिक्योरिटी तो अपने आप आ जाता है। पहले आपको अगर ये आपके अंदर डेवलप हो गया कि आई कैन क्रिएट मनी, आई कैन क्रिएट वेल्थ, एंड जब वो आ जाती है तो उसके आई कैन क्रिएट एनीथिंग इन द वर्ल्ड। एंड हर चीज में लेट गो, लेट गो, लेट गो। It is very useful to sit down and pencil and paper, and under the heading money, begin to delineate what its real meaning are in the future and various avenues of life. आपकी लाइफ में क्या मतलब है मनी का, उसको पेपर पेंसिल पे लिखना जरूरी है। हमेशा मैं बोलती हूँ, थिंक ऑन पेपर। टीओपी, थिंक ऑन पेपर, राइट ऑन पेपर। दिमाग में रहने से वो विचार चले जाएंगे। मनी का क्या मतलब है आपकी लाइफ में, क्या करना है, उसका रियल मतलब आपके लिए क्या है, मुझे बताने की जरूरत नहीं है। आप अपने आप एनालिसिस करो एंड फीलिंग्स लिखो। क्या फीलिंग्स आ रही है उस मनी के साथ उस एरिया में? अपने आप मालूम पड़ जाएगा कि आपकी लिमिटेशन किस चीज के बारे में है। चैरिटी में, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मैंने कई बार एग्जाम्पल कोट किया कि मेरे जब प्रॉफिट बहुत ज्यादा हुआ, मुझे लगा कि मुझे इतना नहीं चाहिए चैरिटी देना, बहुत ज्यादा हो गया भाई पैसा, तो मैंने इसको ब्रिंग डाउन कर दिया। ब्रिंग डाउन करती प्रोपोर्शनेटली इनफैक्ट मच वो मेरा बिजनेस ब्रिंग डाउन हो गया। फ्रीलांसिंग का वर्क था, it wasn't like, but so what are your limitations, what are your feelings? Please write them down. कि मुझे ये नहीं मिलेगा तो पैसा कम हो जाएगा, तो ये नहीं, घर का मैं रेंट नहीं दे पाऊंगा, मैं ये नहीं खरीद पाऊंगा, मैं ईएमआई नहीं पे कर पाऊंगा, whatever whatever whatever. Again, let's read it. Think on paper, write down the heading money. उसके नीचे लिखिए क्या क्या एवेन्यूज में मनी आपको चाहिए या मनी लगता है, और उस हर स्ट्रैटा में write down the feelings that are associated with each area and begin to surrender on each negative feeling and attitude. अपने आप दिख जाए कि अरे मुझे यहाँ पर लिमिटेशन है, okay let go, okay let go, okay let go. As we do this, we have the surprising discovery that money in and of itself is not the most basic issue. More important than money itself is the feelings we all are having, is the emotional gratifications that we hope that we will be ours with the use of the money. अच्छा, ये भी लिखना कि अगर आप सोसाइटी में कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहे हो मनी फॉर सम अपलिफ्टमेंट, क्या आपको उसके लिए recognition चाहिए? That is also a short goal. I mean, that's also a shortcoming. वो भी लिमिटेशन है कि मैंने 1 करोड़ रुपया दिया इस स्कूल को बिल्ड करने में। अब एक प्लाक लगी हो नीचे वहां पर, ये थैंक्स टू प्राची अग्रवाल दिस विंग हैज बीन मेड। दैट्स अ लिमिटेशन। मेरे पास आया है, मेरे पास क्या मैं लिख रही हूँ मेरे पास 1 करोड़ रुपए कहाँ से आया कि फलां क्लाइंट ने दिया, फलां क्लाइंट ने दिया, यहाँ से आया, यहाँ से? एम आई राइटिंग दैट? सो हु एम आई? मैंने अच्छा काम कर दिया, पर 99.9% बोलेंगे नहीं, मैं तो रुपया दिया, मैं तो नाम होना चाहिए। वो भी एक लिमिटेशन है। Let's say that behind the desire for money, we discover that one of our goals is to be respected and valued. लोग लड़कियों की शादी होती है, लोग कंट्रीब्यूट करते हैं, तो 5 लाख मेरी तरफ से, 10 लाख मेरी तरफ से। वो चाहते हैं कि उनका नाम हो कि भाई हाँ जी, मैंने एक लड़की की शादी करवाई है। क्योंकि रिस्पेक्ट चाहिए, वैल्यू चाहिए। वैल्यू हमने अपने लिए कैसे करी, लोग बोलेंगे। इसके बाद हम वैलिडेशन खोज रहे हैं। In that discovery, we have just found out that it isn't money itself that we are interested in. Rather, it is a self-respect and a feeling of inner worth. We see that money was just a tool to achieve something else, and that, as a matter of fact, it isn't money that we want at all, but the self-respect and esteem we thought it would bring us. It will also dawn to us that the goals which we have through money, which we thought money would bring us, can be achieved directly. The higher our inner self-esteem, the less we need the approval of others. Please इसको ना boldly mark कर दो। जितना अपने आप को हम रिस्पेक्ट करते हैं, उतना हम कम लोगों से अप्रिसिएशन चाहेंगे। मुझे आज सपोज अगर मुझे मीनाक्षी बोलती है कि प्राची और सेशंस आर गुड, फॉर एग्जांपल, मुझे नहीं फर्क पड़ेगा। मुझे पता है दे आर गुड, या मुझे पता है आई रिस्पेक्ट माई सेल्फ एंड आई एम डूइंग दिस फॉर सम लव ऑफ माइंड। पर अगर मुझे लगता है कि अरे मैं तो इतना कर रही हूँ, मैं तो कुछ ले भी नहीं रही हूँ, और उसके बाद भी ऐसा बोल रही हूँ, अच्छा मैं तो बंद कर देती हूँ, which means I want her validation. So I've given a very vague example. ना तो मैं अक्षय से बोल रही हूँ, ना मैं ऐसा फील कर रही हूँ। Given the example to make you understand. Please work on yourself. Are you dependent on people? एंड दिस विल मनी में कहाँ से आएगा? आपका लाइफ का एटीट्यूड क्या है? सिर्फ मनी के लिए नहीं, बाकी चीजों के लिए, वो भी मनी में लगता है। अगर आप दातार हो तो बहुत मिलेगा। As we uncover these awarenesses, money takes on a different meaning in each area of our life. Money not an end unto itself. मनी के पीछे भागेंगे तो मनी नहीं मिलेगा, बट लक्ष्य के पीछे भागेंगे तो लक्ष्मी जरूर मिलेंगी। Plan your goals, plan your lakshas, plan your attitude, see what you're going, where are you going, and जहां रुकावट मिले वहां let go, let go, let go. अगर वो लग रहा है कि सोसाइटी बोल रही है 1 करोड़ रुपया दिया है, उसके लिए प्राची को रिकग्निशन चाहिए, सो आई लेट गो ऑफ माई ईगो। मीनाक्षी बोल रही है कि तो योर सेशंस अनगो, आई लेट गो ऑफ द लव फॉर द सेशंस। हु एम आई यार? मुझसे तो करवाया जा रहा है सेशन, आई एम बीइंग गाइडेड टू डू इट, सो आई एम फॉलोइंग माय हायर सेल्फ। सो हु इज प्राची? कहां से आ गई वो बीच में? एक परसेप्शन ही तो है। सो वी हैव टू लेट गो। सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट परसेप्शन छोड़ना कि आई एम प्राची, बिकॉज आई एम नॉट प्राची। Yes, I'm doing my life, my duty as Prachi, but I am not who I think I am. That's the Satya. Truth यही है. Without being conscious of what money means to us emotionally, we are at the effect of it. We are being run by us unconscious beliefs about money and all of its associated programs. It is like the millionaire who keeps piling up more and more millions. There never seems to be enough. Why is that? Is it because he has never stopped to look at what money really means to him? If we obsessively chase after money or other symbols of wealth, it is because inner self-worth is so small that it takes a huge amount of money to compensate for it. The inner insecurity is so extensive that no amount of money can overcome it. Please underline this line also. इनर सेल्फ वर्थ कम है, इनर सिक्योरिटी कम है, कितना भी मनी आ जाए आप संतुष्ट नहीं होगे। तो मनी नहीं आ रहा बिकॉज उसको पता है कि आपको मनी नहीं चाहिए, आपको सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट चाहिए, आपको सिक्योरिटी चाहिए। It might be said that the smaller we feel inside, the greater amount of power, money, glamour must be accumulated in order to try and compensate for the inner smallness. इसलिए आपको ब्रांडेड चीजें बिकॉज आपको चाहिए, बिकॉज आपको आपको अपने स्मॉलनेस को कम करना, आपके अंदर जो वैक्यूम है, जो छोटा सा एरिया है, उसको कम करने के लिए आप ये सब सामान खरीदते हो, टेम्पररी जॉय मिलता है। When we are in a surrendered state, we are free to enjoy life the way it is. We are free from the inner smallness. छोटे आई से बड़ा आई, छोटा आई, I, me, myself, बड़ा आई, I the soul. Forever we go from here. We are free from insecurity, we are free from low esteem. Then our money merely becomes a tool to achieve our goals in the world. knowing that there will always be sufficient abundance. We will always get what we need when we need it. Because if we have a feeling of completion, fulfillment, and satisfaction, then money will definitely come. Money becomes a source of pleasure rather than source of anxiety. ये बात लिख के रख लेना, हमने मैजिकल बुक में वो चेक किया था. जब आपको पता है कि आपको पैसा किसके लिए चाहिए, एंड आप अपने आप को इमेजिन कर रहे हो कि वो चीज हो चुकी है, यू फीलिंग दैट वाओ, मैं ये हॉलिडे ले रहा हूँ, वो पैसा अपने आप आएगा. और तब आप सोचते हो, फिर आप अहम आ जाएगा, मैंने पैसा प्लान किया था ना, तो गई भैंस भारी में. थैंक करो, मनी आ गया. आप बोलते नहीं मैंने प्लान किया था तो आ गया. अरे किसी ने आपको पैसा वापस किया है बिकॉज आपने उस समय पैसा अट्रैक्ट किया है. आप बोलते वो तो पैसा तो मिलना ही था ना. अरे नहीं मिलता तो फिर अहम मत ले आओ अपना. Right? On a certain level, we may even appear. Okay, at this point, let's take a break. Let's do our sun salutations and come back to the chapter. We've gone a little beyond today in normal time. Let's come back to the chapter.
The Surya Namaskar with mantras. Om Mitraye Namaha. Om Ravaye Namaha. Om Suryaye Namaha. Om Bhanave Namaha. Om Khagaye Namaha. Om Pushne Namaha. Om Hiranyagarbhaye Namaha. Om Marichaye Namaha. Om Adityaye Namaha. Om Savitre Namaha. Om Arkaye Namaha. Om Bhaskaraye Namaha. Salutations to the universal friend. Salutations to the resplendent sun. Salutations to the energy that induces activity within us. Salutations to the one who illumines. Salutations to the sun moving across the sky. Salutations to the giver of strength. Salutations to the golden cosmic self. Salutations to the Lord of the dawn. Salutations to the son of Aditi, the cosmic mother. Salutations to the benevolent mother. Salutations to the energy that we praise, and to the one who guides us to salvation. The sun salutation now with the names of the postures, both in Sanskrit and English. Pranamasan, Hastuthanasan, Padhastasan, left leg back, Ashvasanchalanasan, Parvatasan, and hold this position, and now slowly progressing into the deeper version of Parvatasan, Adho Mukh Svanasana. Ashtang Namaskar, Bhujangasana, Parvatasan, left forward Ashvasanchalanasana, Padahastasana, Hastuthanasan, Pranamasan. On the right side, prayer position, raised arms pose, hand to feet pose, right leg back, equestrian pose, mountain pose, hold mountain pose, and slowly moving into the deeper version of mountain, the downward facing dog. Salute with 8 limbs, cobra, press back to mountain, right forward equestrian pose, hand to feet pose, raised arms position, prayer pose. One round of the sun salutation with awareness on the breathing. So exhaling our hands to the chest, pranam. Inhaling as we bend back. We Exhale as we fold forward. Left leg back. Inhale as we're arching back. Exhale into the forward. Hold the breath for knees, chest, chin. Inhale as we arch back. Exhale into the forward. Left leg forward. Inhale. This is a back bend. Exhale whenever we bend forward. Inhale as we bend back. Exhale. Hands to the chest. And on the right, deep breathing. Exhale. A deep inhale. A long exhale. Right leg back with an inhale. And exhale. Hold the breath. Inhale. And exhale. Right leg forward with a deep inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale.
All right, let's continue our journey about wealth and let's understand what is there for all of us. So let's know one thing very categorically: money is energy. Money is required for everything in the world. All right. Very few things are not with money. If you say money can't buy happiness, let's understand. When I give a product to somebody and he or she feels happy, child or elder, anybody, it's with money, right? Even if I'm sewing something, वो धागा या सामान भी आया तो money की वजह से आया ना. So money is important. Now, in second paragraph on page number 247, we are reading the chapter called Transformation. In that, we're reading about wealth. On a certain level, we may even appear to be indifferent to money. When we need it to complete a project, it just magically seems to appear from somewhere. We feel nonchalant about it because we are connected to the source of our own power. When we re-own the power that we have given to money and see that it is our own power, we are no longer concerned about money, nor do we need to accumulate a great deal of it. Once we have the formula for gold, we don't need to carry a bag of it on our shoulders with all of its attendant worries and anxieties. The problem with excessive accumulation of money, of course, is a constant fear of losing it. It is tragic-comic to watch someone who's worth $50 million practically, who has a nervous breakdown because through a business oversight, he lost $10 million. The man was actually in panic. Emotionally, he was frightened that he would not be able to survive on the planet with only $40 million. The person who suffers from this inner poverty is relentlessly driven to accumulate on the material level. With this inner poverty, there's a whole attitude of selfishness, or it correlates of vanity and false pride. So let's understand, too much of money brings in insecurity. But if you are very comfortable with too much of money, then the money will be with you, or it will be attracted to you. जितना spend करोगे उतने से ज़्यादा आ जाएगा. आपको डर ही नहीं है ना कि money जाएगा. अगर आपको डर है, हाय शेयर में लूज कर दिया तो, अरे मैंने यहाँ लगाया बिजनेस वेंचर फेल हो गया तो, जो फील करा वो होगा. What are you attracting? यार अगर हमने पढ़ा था पहले भी in a couple of books कि 10 places में हम मनी लगाते हैं 100 रुपया, 2-3 जगह डूब भी गया तो हमें ये तो विश्वास है कि 7 जगह से बढ़ के ही मिलेगा. So overall रिटर्न तो ज्यादा है. अगर हमको इतना भी विश्वास है तो it's fine. That's why they say don't put all your eggs in one basket. अब मैंने 1000 रुपए एक जगह लगा दिया तो ऑफ कोर्स डर है, और 100 करके लगाया तो ज्यादा लगाया भी नहीं. कहीं 100 का 125 हो जाएगा, कहीं 150 हो जाएगा, कहीं 0.2 हो जाएगा, कहीं 200 हो जाएगा, कहीं 100 का 0 हो जाएगा. So on the whole I'm a winner. If I have the attitude कि मैं तो जहां भी लगाती हूँ I always gain money, तो ऐसा ही होगा. It is very common for people who use a letting go technique suddenly to come into abundance. करके देखो आप letting go अपना love for your money, अपने आप ज्यादा पैसा आएगा. Struggling actors now have started starring roles in Hollywood. A playwright on the edge of poverty becomes producer of a smash Broadway hit. Paradoxically, some people have grown so nonchalant about money that they have chosen to get rid of a lot of money and live a much simpler life. They're no longer interested in money, they have mastery over it. And इसमें हम सबको पहुंचना है. पहले पैसा कमा लीजिए भर भर के, live a life जो आप चाहते थे हमेशा, सारे सपने पूरे कर लो. जब कर लिया, तब लेट गो करने में बहुत मजा आने वाला है. अरे आई हैव बीन देयर डन दैट ऑल. अभी आई एम डोनेटिंग, अभी आई डोंट नीड. लुक एट बिल गेट्स एंड ऑल, कितने करोड़ों रहते रहे हर साल. दे डन इट ऑल ना. अब सीधी सादी सारी लाइफ लिव करे, इट्स ओके. बट पहले से बोलना कि अरे आई हैव मास्टर, बिना कमाए बिना पैसे दिए बोल रहे मास्टर, तो आप यू जस्ट लिविंग इन अ मेक बिलीव वर्ल्ड. So first earn, spend where you want to, and then have mastery over it by giving it away. The inner satisfaction that had been sought by means of money are now satisfied directly. So that inner happiness is independent of outer wealth. तब आप देखोगे कि अरे मैं तो इतना अच्छा फील कर रही हूँ, बिना पैसे की भी अच्छा फील कर रही हूँ, बिकॉज नाउ आप डिपेंडेंट ही नहीं हो. दिस इज बिकॉज वन ट्रांसेंड्स दैट व्हिच वन हैज मास्टर्स. जब आप ट्रांसेंड कर देते हो जिसको आपने मास्टरी कर ली है, तो ऑब्वियसली लाइफ में मनी भी आएगा, हैप्पीनेस भी आएगी, वेल्थ भी आएगा, हेल्थ भी आएगी, सब कुछ आएगा. क्यों हम लेट गो करें? लेट गो ऑफ व्हाट? मनी मनी मनी, हाई मनी हाई मनी हाई मनी. व्हाट्स अ बिग डील? When you spend money, don't think अरे इतना स्पेंड करे, इतना बचा है. कई लोग अपने बजट पर आके चलते हैं ना, अच्छा इतना बचा है, अरे बहुत मजा आ रहा है, वी आर रियली स्पेंडिंग. ये बजट पे बहुत, इसमें तो बहुत कुछ हो जाएगा. आपका एटीट्यूड क्या है, बजट उससे ग्रो होता है. जब आपका एटीट्यूड है कि बहुत बचा है, तो आप विल बी शॉक्ड टू नो कि सेल्स आ जाएंगी, स्कीम्स आ जाएंगी, ऑफर्स आ जाएंगे, उतने से पैसे में इतना सा. So again, it depends upon your attitude completely. Now let's talk about happiness. In the sections of health and wealth, we have already touched upon important areas relating to overall happiness. Now we will focus more on inner emotional life because that is where it really matters and that's where we all live. The purpose of health and wealth is, after all, merely because we presume that to some extent it is true and they result in happiness. Now, happiness can be experienced directly. However, on this level, it is relatively independent of health or wealth. Let's take an objective look at the average view of happiness. To begin with, the happiness is extremely vulnerable. A chance remark, a critical comment, a raised eyebrow, or a car cutting into the line ahead of us are all sufficient to blow the average person's happiness in an instant, right? सही बात है ना? किसी ने मुझे कमेंट कर दिया, किसी ने मुझे ऐसे बोल दिया कुछ, या गाड़ी वाला सामने ट्रैफिक में कट करके, मुझे गुस्सा आ जाएगा, राइट? मेरी हैप्पीनेस कैसी की तैसी हो जाएगी टेम्पररीली. The threat of a job loss, a feeling distrust in a relationship, a foreboding remark by a doctor, or an impertinent cab driver are sufficient to ruin the day for many of us. Because hum dependent hai, so they can ruin a day. Why is our happiness so fragile? Why are we so vulnerable? Why is it so fragile that commonplace occurrences can ruin the whole day? इतने vulnerable हैं हम. किसी ने कुछ बोला, छोटा सा चीज बोला और हम ट्रिगर ऑफ हो गए. डॉक्टर ने बोला आपकी 60 साल की जिंदगी है, तो मैं 60 साल में लेना चाहिए. किस डॉक्टर भगवान जी है? Does he know? You actually can live how many ever years you want. But आप उस मैजिक के ऊपर आए नहीं हो अभी तक. हमारे पुराने जमाने के लोग तो सब आ गए थे. भीष्म पितामह, महाभारत टाइम्स, 800,000 साल was normal. हम भूल गए. Let's understand. In the section on the anatomy of emotions, we have already looked at the reasons for this. As a result of negative feelings, thoughts, attitudes, together with the constant judgment and criticism of other people, we often feel separated from others. उसने बोला तो वो और मैं अलग है ना, सेम नहीं है. Because of this feeling of inner aloneness and separation, relationships take on the form of attachments. Mera bacha, mera parent, mera wife, mera husband, whatever. And with this fear, anger, jealousy that accompanies any threat to those attachments comes in. मेरे बच्चे ने उसकी बात सुनी, अरे मेरी बात नहीं सुनी, उसकी बात सुनी. मेरा पेरेंट मेरे दूसरे बहन भाई की तरफ ज्यादा फेवरेबल करता है, मेरे लिए नहीं. जेलसी आ रही है, ईर्ष्या आ रही है. The inner negativity results in such commonly held beliefs as you are born alone and you will die alone. Nothing, in fact, is farther from the truth. As recent books on near-death experiences reveal, it is during life that one often feels alone, and at the moment of death, there's absolute feeling of oneness and connectedness. अगर आप लोगों ने नहीं देखा है तो प्लीज लाइफ आफ्टर डेथ या जस्ट रीड अबाउट इट, नियर डेथ एक्सपीरियंस पढ़ के देखिए, बहुत सारे मिल जाएंगे ऑनलाइन. जब आप मरते हो, यू सच अ ब्यूटीफुल फीलिंग, यू आर वन, यू कनेक्टेड. So I met my brother after he crossed over. And he said, Didi, if you could come here, you would feel it's so beautiful here. I don't want to come back on Mother Earth. I'm so happy here. It's so beautiful. Itna shant, itna beautiful, itna sundar hai. There's so much of oneness. I'm being guided and it's just amazing. And जो लोग बोलते हैं अकेले आए थे अकेले जाओगे, आई थिंक ना तो हम अकेले आते हैं ना हम अकेले जाते हैं, बिकॉज जब जिस समय हम आ रहे होते हैं, अगर आप फैक्ट्स देखो, ग्राफिकल फैक्ट्स देखो, उस समय हजारों बच्चे पैदा हुए होते हैं द वर्ल्ड. सो अगेन, व्हाट डू यू वांट टू बिलीव इन? Because of attachments, dependencies, in a smallness, we may feel weak and limited. The guilty tolerance, intolerance of our inner thoughts and feelings are projected into the world, making the world look like a fearful place. Because these fears are held in mind, fearful events, experiences literally brought into our life experience. I'll tell you a very simple example. The other day, my daughter's birthday happened. So she got a lot of gifts from, family and everyone. I said, बेटा तुम्हारे पास कितना money है अभी, कितने लिफाफे आए? So she said, इतना 50,000 आ गया तुम्हारे पास. She's like, हाँ आए, पापा ने इतना दिया, इतना whatever. ऐसे कहाँ रखा हुआ है? We had gone out for the entire day, and she doesn't lock her room. Everyone locks the room. So she's like, Mama, it's in my side table का drawer in a wallet. I said, are you mad? You don't even keep in the locker तुम्हारे पास है, वहाँ रख लेती. आपका मन नहीं उठता होगा, मेरा तो कभी नहीं उठता. Oh my God. I was like, thank you for the correction. She trusts the people in the universe. I'm not saying it's not, I mean, in today's world, somebody will say, हाँ, trust the harm and keeping inside. But she says, no, I trust completely. आज तक मैं कुछ भी नहीं उठाया, हॉस्टल में मेरे कमरे में कुछ नहीं उठा, कभी कुछ नहीं गया. What's the thing to be scared about? So I realized fear is in the mind. कि ये fearful event हो जाए, experience हो जाए. Fear results in chronic anger and makes us want to attack and to an inner emotional chaos. Pain and suffering occur with periodic despair and proneness to emotional upset. So जब आपका डर आएगा, परेशानी होगी, बीमारी आ जाएगी, because आपको डर है. The ego mind, which sees everyone as separate, is envious of anyone who appears happier, more successful, and the better relationship, better body, or better connections. Soon, because of a lack of inner clarity about goals, there's confusion leading to self-pity, envy, further resentment. जब आप किसी, for example, आप किसी man को देखते हो, very good looking, looking younger than his age, fit body है एकदम, बहुत बढ़िया गाड़ी चला रहा है, बहुत बढ़िया घर में रह रहा है, बहुत सुंदर बीवी है, बहुत अच्छे बच्चे हैं, बहुत सब कुछ अमेजिंग है, और आप कॉन्ट्री में थोड़े से बॉल्ड हो रहे हो, थोड़े से वेट आ गया है, आप स्कूल की रियूनियन पे मिल रहे हो, 20 साल के बाद आपकी तो यू लुकिंग लाइक अ अंकल जी एंड ही इज लुकिंग लाइक अ डूड. जेलसी आएगी कि नहीं आएगी? हम ह्यूमन बीइंग्स हैं, पता नहीं यार क्या करता है, ही जस्ट डजंट एज, सब कुछ है यार, और मेरे को देखो, मुझे लोग अंकल बोल रहे, उसको तो लोग नाम से बोल रहे. दिस इज वेरी नेचुरल, बट ये इसलिए हो रहा है बिकॉज आप उसके लिए खुश नहीं हो पा रहे हो, आप उससे जेलस हो पा रहे हो. But if you start saying, wow, man, look at you, so happy for you. Look where you've arrived. You look like so young, dapper, hot. जो भी आपको बोलना है. So आप उसकी क्वालिटीज को ओन कर रहे हो, खुशी दे रहे हो. आप बोल पता नहीं यार, उसके पीछे बात कर रहे हो, पता नहीं क्या करता है, हम दो देखो ऐसे फंसे हुए, ये देखो कहाँ पहुंच गए. This is what I'm trying to say. Oneness है कि सेपरेशन है, बट हमारा रिस्पॉन्स क्या होगा? अब जब हम अवेयर हैं, हम कॉन्शियसली बेटर रिस्पॉन्ड कर सकते हैं. अब हमें पता है, अरे यार मुझे तो वो मैं कर रहा हूँ, तो मैंने किताब में पढ़ा था, आई शुड नॉट डू दिस, अब मुझे ये करना चाहिए, चलो अब मैं करता हूँ. एंड देन सी द रिजल्ट. आई विल से कीप दैट मैन एज योर कंपनी. व्हेन यू सी दैट मैन एवरी डे, यू विल लर्न समथिंग फ्रॉम हिम. कंपनी वो रखो जैसे बनना चाहते हो, बहुत फर्क पड़ता है. अगर स्पिरिचुअल एहसास करना है, एवोल्यूशन करना है, तो कीप दैट कंपनी, राइट. अगर आप कंपनी आपकी क्रिटिसिज्म वाली है हर समय, तो आप ना चाहते हुए उसमें बहुत जाओगे. सो बी केयरफुल. Soon, because of a lack of inner clarity about goals, there's confusion leading to self-pity, envy, and further resentment. Self-condemnation gets endlessly projected onto the world. मैं नहीं कर पाया, अरे मेरे parents इतने rich नहीं हैं. Taking the form of condemnation from your entire world or others, it increases further the guilt and feeling of smallness. अब मुझे smallness नहीं own करनी. I want to feel good about me. मैं भी कहाँ से कहाँ आया हूँ. अरे मेरी तो journey has been amazing, fabulous, amazing. And when I own good looks of that guy, the luck of that guy, I'm inviting that on me. For some of us, the only escape is three: grandiosity, intolerance, bigotry, arrogance, anger, which takes the form of cruelty, overbearingness, brutality, insensitivity to others का feelings. जब हम परेशान होते हैं, हैरान होते हैं, तो हम क्या करते हैं? हमारे अंदर का डेविल जाग जाता है. हम इंटॉलरेंट मेरे हिसाब से होना चाहिए, नहीं तो ऐसा होगा. अरे मैं शांत से लिव करता हूँ, मैं 2 रुपए खर्च कर मैं 3 रुपए खर्च करूंगा. फिर मैं एरोगेंट बन जाता हूँ, गुस्सा हो जाता है, फिर मैं क्रूर हो जाता हूँ, एक थप्पड़ धाप किसी को मार दिया लड़की को, या बोलते तू जॉब से बाहर निकल. एकदम से ओवरबेयरिंग हो जाते हैं. वो मेरा अहम, मेरी ईगो. That is also taking away our happiness, our money, and our health, everything. Often the insensitivity comes with self-excuses such as, I am an upfront person who speaks my mind, or I am the frank types. You know, where you stand with me. These comments are a cover-up for insensitivity, which might be better described as gosh. जो लोग ऐसे बोलते हैं ना, अरे मैं तो बड़ा अपफ्रंट पर्सन हूँ, अरे मैं तो अपना दिमाग बोल देता हूँ. इसका मतलब अगेन हमें कैमोफ्लेज कर रहे हैं दुनिया में कि हाँ मैं इतना इंसेंसिटिव हूँ, तो मेरे पास रीजन है उसके लिए इंसेंसिटिव हो रहे हैं. मैं तो बड़ा बड़ा. आपकी फ्रैंकनेस से किसी को खुशी मिल रही है क्या? सोच के देखो. आपको अच्छा लग रहा है क्या बोल के, किसी को हर्ट करके? नहीं तो कवर चेंज करो. स्टॉप कवरिंग अप. क्या हार्म है डिप्लोमेटिक बनने में? क्या हार्म है किसी को नहीं पसंद करते हो बट फिर भी उसके लिए तारीफ ढूंढने में? अच्छा ही ढूंढने की कोशिश कर रहे हो ना. हार्म क्या है? बट बुराई मुंह पे बोल रहे हो. जो इंसान पसंद भी करता था आपको, उसको भी आप दूर धकेल रहे हो बिकॉज आप कंपैरिजन कर रहे हो. द लो सेल्फ एस्टीम रिजल्ट्स in criticism of self and others, constant competition, comparison, analyzing, contempt, intellectual, मैं ज्यादा इंटेलिजेंट तुमसे, डाउट तुम मुझे अपने में विश्वास है, and fantasy of revenge. मैं करके दिखाऊंगा इसको लाइफ में. All this is not going to help you. When all of these mechanisms fail, there is a recurrence of apathy and feelings of hopelessness and victimization. जब ये सब फेल हो जाता है, अरे फिर तो कुछ, मेरे तो कुछ नहीं हो सकता, अरे मैं तो बहुत अनलकी हूँ, मैं तो माँ बाप ऐसे थे, मैं तो गरीबी में पैदा हुआ, अरे ऐसा हुआ, अरे अरे तो कहाँ किंग बन गया था, अब मैं गरीब हो गया, ऐसा हो गया. एंड फिर डिप्रेशन, डिप्रेशन के बाद सुसाइड्स. सो मेनी पीपल डू दैट. बच्चे पढ़ाई के स्कूल में भी कर लेते थे सुसाइड्स. क्यों? वो सब मुझे पसंद नहीं करते, उन्होंने ये होपलेस, कुछ नहीं हो सकता, मैं फेल हो गया, ऐसा है, फिनिश, लाइफ खत्म, स्क्रूड अप, ओवर. In such a progressively alienated because there is so much of ourselves that we hide. हम एक नकाब के पीछे छुपे पड़े हैं, हमें पता ही नहीं हम हैं कौन, बोलते क्या है, फील क्या करते, लोग क्या बोलते, सब में इतना अंतर है. Our behavior leads to others and imbalance due to overvaluation of the areas of life that do not seem to work. Too much सोचते हैं, too much. Life को easy नहीं लिया हमने. सोच. Because of this inner chaos, the average person must, of necessity, stay unconscious at all times. It's interesting to watch the means that the mind has invented to accomplish this end. We watch as a person gets up in the morning and flips on the radio or the television to immediately get the mind off the self and its mental chatter. Despite the extra amusement, thoughts and feelings tend to arise until the mind becomes preoccupied within the projects of the day, week, and various schemes of accomplishment or pleasure. कितने लोग हैं आप लोगों में से जो सुबह उठकर टेलीविजन ऑन करते हैं? मेरे फादर करते हैं, उठते ही नहीं और टेलीविजन इतनी जोर जोर टेलीविजन चलता है कि घर जाकर लगता है कि कोई बॉम्ब गिर गया. वो क्या कर रहे हैं? अपने अंदर की क्लैटर को बंद करने के लिए बाहर की दुनिया में घुस रहे हैं, उसके बाद भी क्लैटर और बढ़ जाती है. उस समय क्या टाइम करना चाहिए? रीड समथिंग नाइस, मेडिटेट, गो फॉर अ स्ट्रोल, कनेक्ट विद मदर नेचर. बट क्या कर रहे हैं हम? चिटर चटर ऑन अंदर भी चल रही है बाहर भी चल रही है. थोड़ा थेरेपेटिक म्यूजिक सुने, अच्छा करें. हाउ विल द डे बी? सोच कर देखिएगा. Very important to see what are we heading for. It starts with the preoccupation with the body. All of the brushing, washing, perfuming, powdering, deodorizing, carefully selecting the clothes for the day. How will I look? What will I wear? How does I have to go? Choosing of clothes brings up all the schedules of the day, its busyness, activities that have been crowded into the day, the endless appointments, phone calls, errands, social engagements, home responsibilities, emails. On the way to work, all the day's activity, there's chatting with companions, listening to car radio, making cell phone calls, sending text messages, reading the morning newspaper on the subway. Once at the destination, there follows a preoccupation with the external events of the day. The business, the deals, the bargains, the arrangements, the works, the worries, the manipulations, the endless search for power, the quest for strokes, and the ever-present fear of survival. All of this is motivated by a desire to somehow derive meaning and security, and to increase our self-esteem and ensure our self-worth, whatever means. The franticness or the struggle is not triggered by some external event. Then we can run into the internal emptiness. This calls for the incessant indigestion of novels, magazines, televisions, websites. Or the emptiness is avoided by the constant going to parties, escaping through drugs, numbing with a few drinks, watching movies, pursuing other amusements. We tend to do just about anything to avoid facing that feeling of near emptiness. There's nothing wrong with any of these activities in and of around themselves. What we want to examine is only the state of consciousness, the state of awareness, and the manner in which the activities are perceived, pursued, and experienced. In a state of inner freedom, these same events and experiences take on totally different significance. दो इंसान हैं, दोनों के पास स्केड्यूल बना हुआ है, ये भी और ये भी. एक पीछे भाग रहा है, ये करना, ये करना, ये करना, ये करना, ये करना, ये करना, एक करे, ये सब होगा, it will be amazing, the day will be very fruitful. यहाँ एंजाइटी है, यहाँ टेंशन है, और यहाँ एक फीलिंग है जो नहीं होगा वो अगला हो जाएगा. It doesn't matter. The identical activities can stem from an inner sense of happiness, self-worth, and completeness. The same goals can be fulfilled through realization of inner achievement rather than competition with others. Relationships become sharing and loving rather than jealous and competitive, driven by seeking of strokes and approval. When we are free of negative drives, we enjoy gratifying relationships because we love people, not because we attach to them. We can allow the other persons to be free, not subject to jealousy and threat. We are not the victims of manipulation by others because we have already found an enough fulfillment. जब हम अंदर पूरे हैं, अधूरे नहीं हैं, तो बाहर हम खोजेंगे क्यों? हम बस अपना काम करे जाएंगे, right? Now, as negative thoughts, feelings, and attitudes are relinquished, we re-own the power that we had given over to the world. जो power दूसरों को दी थी, अब वो power हमारे पास अपनी हो गई है. Much of the attraction of the world is due to the glamorization that we have projected onto it. Questions arise for self-reflection. Is it really all that money that I want? Or is it the glamour that I have attached to it? What is it that I want from the job title or designation of doctor, this, that, whatever? Is it the responsibility and activities that go along with it? Is it glamour and esteem associated with it? Do I really love that person, or am I in love with the glamour I projected onto him or her? The more we let go, the more deglamorized the world becomes. The more the world is deglamorized, the less it runs us. We're not at the effect of glamour and can no longer be manipulated by it. We're no longer vulnerable to the professional programmers of the media and the political and social arenas. We are no longer at the effect of an inner need for approval from others. We begin to love people for who they are, not for what they can do for us. We no longer need to exploit people or get exploited by anyone to win them over or to lose ourselves. As our own level of guilt decreases, our self-esteem expands. Relationships are now based on integrity. We are no longer subject to emotional blackmail. अभी कितने लोग इमोशनल ब्लैकमेल करते हैं, बेटा आजा, बहुत दिन हो गए मिले हुए, तू नहीं आएगा तो कैसे होगा, उसके पास चला जाता है, मेरी तबीयत खराब हो रही है, बीमार हो रहा हूँ, देखो देख के अच्छा लगेगा. वो बेटा को अगर आपसे ज्यादा ही लव होता, आपने दिया होता, तो अपने आप भाग के आता माँ या पापा के पास. So, where are we heading? जो हो गया सो हो गया. Abhi bhi we can rewrite the story of our lives. That's the beauty part about this entire transformation. As a corollary, we stop trying to blackmail others with emotional pressure because relationships are based on honesty. They exist and function on a higher plane. There is no longer a fear of alienation or feeling of aloneness. कैसी फीलिंग होती है आपको अपने कई फ्रेंड से बात करके जो बहुत जिगरी दोस्त होते हैं 10 साल हो गए 4 साल हो गए जहां खत्म किया वहीं से शुरू हो जाती है क्यों वननेस है ना इट डजेंट मैटर आप 4 साल 2 साल 3 साल 5 साल नहीं मिले जब मिले जब जागो तब सवेरा यू एंजॉय वे यू आर वहां तो आप दुहाई नहीं देते बिकॉज वहां वननेस है बच्चों पे ज्यादा करते हो पेरेंट्स पे ज्यादा करते हो वाई वो सेपरेट फील जबकि वो वन होने चाहिए थे वहां सेपरेट फील करते हो सो अगेन थिंक अबाउट इट The surrendered person no longer needs others for personal fulfillment, but it is with them out of choice because of love and enjoyment. Compassion for others and for their humanness transform life and all relationships. Get this very, very, very clear. जितनी करुणा रखेंगे कितने कंपैशन रखेंगे दूसरों के लिए जितने उनकी ह्यूमननेस को एक्सेप्ट करेंगे हम ट्रांसफॉर्म होंगे हमारी लाइफ ट्रांसफॉर्म होगी so that's it for today. Tomorrow we'll talk about the state of inner freedom. And today we'll now go on to this beautiful chapter. Let's understand that all of us are here for a reason. And Richa, you can read this chapter in the new book for all of us, The Art of Creative Thinking, Rod Judkins. Letting go ना रोज मतलब हमें नहीं पता है but एक वापस हमें चूज कर देती है. It's good to keep understanding it. Get out of your mind. All right, let's read it.
Insane woman in a lunatic asylum made Hans Christian Andersen realize he was too sane. Andersen achieved worldwide fame in the 19th century for his imaginative and exotic fairy tales such as The Ugly Duckling and The Princess and the Pea, which remain classics. His stories continue to be read across the world. They have introduced generations of children to the whimsical world of imagination. Andersen crafted tales and built dreamy, fantastical worlds that were driven by an intuitive common sense. Tales told by women who had been committed to the local lunatic asylum where his grandmother was a gardener inspired him. Andersen sat and listened avidly to their improvised tales full of witches, fairies, goblins, and trolls. They schooled him in the art of stream of consciousness and improvised storytelling. Imaginative worlds, strange surreal characters, and weird situations poured from their unbalanced mind. As a Ray Charles put it, dreams, if they are any good, are always a little bit crazy. But their stories were without form. Anderson combined their exotic imagination with structured plots. Getting those twins aspects working in tandem was the key to his success. He combined the absurd and irrational with his literary skill, gripping plotting, plot lines and perspective observation of human behavior. Anderson Desire characters look at the world with a distorted perspective and are unable to see or understand their real situation. Many credit Anderson with exploring the subconscious mind decades before Freud studies and see him as a forerunner to the 20th century surrealist movement. Creativity requires a mixture of unfettered imagination, practical application, random invention, and playfulness held together with the underlying thread. Children and the insane are a great example of how to think in an unfettered and unconstrained way. Their thoughts flow freely and are always flexible and random. Doors to be unexplored areas constantly open up for them. But children and the insane don't drive technological, creative, and artistic innovation. They lack the organizational skills, Creative thinking requires a balance of each. Imagination and fantasies are essential components of a healthy, satisfying mental life. Unfettered imagination has positive and useful results in our daily lives. Imagination enables us to rehearse and constructively plan. Try to encourage your mind to wander. It will produce tangible result. Forgetting a practical task because your attention has drifted is of little consequence if the daydream has enabled you to assess a key insight.
Thank you, Richa, for reading
Open the
for all.
window of
No, wait a minute, Richa. Thank you. Thank you so much for reading for all of us these beautiful 3 chapters that you've read. So let's understand one thing. Creativity requires a lot of stuff, especially from us, imagination, which is beyond the box, out of the box. And उसको practically use करना. Random invention, playfulness से भी हो सकती है. It's not like नहीं हो सकती, but चीजें ऐसा हमें करना चाहिए जो unrealistic लगे, but उनको हम कैसे उतार पाए in real life. Now, the minute आपका संकल्प है, आपकी इंटेंशन है, अपने आप दरवाजे खिड़की खुल जाएंगे, अपने आप एनर्जी फ्लो करेगी, अपने आप चीजें आपके सामने खुल के आएंगी. Just never let go of your imagination, never let go of your fantasy, because जब तक इन ये आपके पास है, तब तक you are a person who's creating. जब आप in line पड़ जाओगे, you stop imagining, you stop creating, तब आपकी एकदम mundane job and life हो जाएगी. So Roald D. Arellano says, open the window of fantasy to know what reality can bring. So अपने दरवाजे खिड़की खोले दिमाग की and bring stuff out which you're meant to create. Thank you, Rahul sir. Okay, so today's meditation, I just opened the book from my mobile as I'm traveling. I didn't carry the book. It says, I am a natural winner. So let's meditate on being a winner and let's intertwine that with our learning. So everyone, our backs absolutely straight. Our feet firmly placed on ground below. Take a deep breath in. And out. Once more, deep breath in. Ever so gently out. In. And out. Life is magical. Life is beautiful. Life is a journey which is very rewarding. When I am bestowed with a life as magnificent as I have been, let me remember and remind myself that I was born whole and complete, that I was born with substance, that life truly has my back. It had, it will, and it will always be like that. That I am a natural winner. That I have to now think beyond the box. That if I am going to listen to people, I should listen to the winners, the people who've accomplished something in life, my role models. I should listen to people who know what they are doing and why they're doing what they're doing, and improve what they're doing, so that I am inspired and in very good company. Ultimately, I become a reflection of my company. I should always remind myself that self-love is the greatest form of love. As I'm learning to love myself, I am becoming more aware of the power that I hold within me. My love for myself moves me from being a victim to being a winner. My love for myself attracts them to me and me to them. People who feel good about themselves are naturally attractive because they have an aura about them. And that is just wonderful. And now I will dwell in that aura. I am in that aura because I feel good about myself. I'm finally learning to feel good about myself. I'm always winning in life the minute I'm embracing the self-love. We can be willing to learn to love ourselves unconditionally. We can be winners too. In fact, if we look deeply within us, we all are winners. In our own way in our life, we have achieved so much. And yet there's such a long path to go. So it says, embrace the person in us, the natural winner, the God that created, the creator, the artist, who thinks out of the box, who automatically lets go of all kinds of attachments to food, to body, to perceptions, and then see the beautiful box of abundance open up. The doors and windows opening up, giving us a life of absolute ease, healthy, wealthy, wise, full of happiness, in relationships, in family goals, in health goals, in life goals. We can be living for as long as we want to, doing whatever we want to, being independent of the financial constraints, because there's no constraint, it's all in the mind. Each one of us can earn so much. We can be an entrepreneur, we can be anything. As long as we have an intention to make ourselves the winners and love and learn life, let's be open and receptive to all the magic that unfolds in front of us. Let's be open and receptive to all love, to all abundance from all universes. Let us all be channels of love and light. And let's always remember to express our eternal gratitude at every given point of time. Let's remind ourselves, the more we breathe beautifully, the more we are to be grateful. When we embrace this, life opens its doors. So let's bow down to Mother Earth to thank her for her generosity, for gifting us these beautiful gifts of compassion, love, kindness. May these grow many, many folds in this new year of 2022. And so it is. Let's thank our life lessons, our experiences, which have nurtured us, enriched us, enlivened us, empowered us. Good or bad, each one was important. Let's forgive, forgive, forgive. Let's let go, go, and go. Let's become confident as winners that we are. Let's open our hands towards the universe above. Thank them for all the love, all the guidance, all the support we've always been given. To all the teachers, in whichever form they came as parents or whoever, thank you for your teachings. To all the divinity, thank you for your blessings. To all the angels, thank you for your guidance. To all the guardians, thank you for blessing us with your protection layer. To the cosmos, thank you for including us in your Leela. Thank you, thank you, thank you, universe. Let's fold our hands in gratitude. Let's rub them together. Bless our face with the five senses. May we see better, think better, feel better, dream better, say better. Bless your neck, shoulders, arms, backside of your body, upper to lower, soles, lower to upper front side of the body. Let's bless our Sangamitras and all sentient beings on Mother Earth. Let there be love, let there be light. Vijayji, Pratimaji, Minakshi, Manisha, Richard, Shami, Ankur, Ushaji, Rahul sir, Amrita ma'am, and every single soul. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Any questions? And thank you, Richa, once again for your reading. I hope that all of us are practicing genuine let go. very, very, very important. Genuinely practice it, not just on reading. We need to practice that. So let's keep practicing. Let's keep being blessed. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.